Have you ever felt like you had to wipe the ick off of your body and out of your mouth after following some guru sales script that made you feel so awkward and inauthentic? Yeah, that was me about a month ago. And I just want to tell you why I absolutely ditched that and what I've been doing for 18 years straight and how it's helped me generate over $17 million. And I'm sticking with that. So, hey there, I'm Salen. I help six-figure women entrepreneurs who are driven to grow their business. There are two phases in business: grow and scale. And unfortunately, the sad, shockingly upsetting statistic is that 98% of women entrepreneurs get stuck in the grow phase. This means you are generating somewhere in the six-figure range in business, but you have not joined the 2% elite who can celebrate 1 million in revenue and scale beyond that. What I help my clients do is prepare their business over a 90-day period with the 4 core pillars that every business from Amazon to Apple to Airbnb have behind the scenes that you most likely skipped or didn't take seriously. So that way your business is prepped to scale with laser focus, intention, and ease. And so one of the things that you need to really get a handle on is sales. Now, I will admit, I am not a sales guru, but there are three phrases that I have been using in business that I used and taught my team that helped us generate over $17 million in sale. And I can tell you they're not sleazy, they're more service-based, and they don't make you feel icky like you need a shower. Now, here's why this is important. So about a month ago, I was working with someone who said, like, Salen, you need to really follow like a sales script and all of this stuff. And I was like, okay. And because I'm always willing, like when I pay a coach to teach me something, I'm always willing to try it. And so I wrote out my script. I had my bullets. I did all of that. I had a discovery call with a client, and I literally got off that call and I felt like, ew, that so wasn't me. And actually, a couple days later, I actually reached out to the future client and I said to her, please forgive me, but I was like, I felt so icky delivering that call. That was so not me. She said it didn't seem salesy, but she's a very kind person, so I don't know if I believe her. But anyways, yes, she signed up as a client, but the thing about it is I just didn't feel good in delivering it. And if you don't feel good in delivering something or taking an action, then it's not going to be something that you want to do, which means it's going to fall to the bottom of your list, which means if it's an income producing activity in your business is not going to be able to grow and then scale to 1 million and beyond. So today we're fixing that. If sales is something that you struggle with and you're so tired of the used car salesman, icky sales scripts, the pressure, the scarcity, like all of those different kinds of things, I know they work, but I feel that you really need to build your confidence in sales prior to using some of those more hardcore proven tactics or scripts, right? So let's talk about the 3 phrases. So when I started my first business in franchising, basically what we would do is we would go out and we would market to the community, to referral sources in the community, and referrals would come in via the phone. And someone would call and say, a lot of the times they would say, I need to get help for my mom, right? Because I worked in senior home care, and would be like, okay. And as the person that was receiving that call in the office, we needed to take the lead. And so what I trained my team to do was use what I call transition phrase. Some people call them bridges or whatever, but it's basically a transition. You're at a point in a conversation, whether it just started, whether it's in the middle, whether it's near the end, wherever it is, and you need to transition from one point of the conversation to the next, right? And you want it to be smooth. And I find when you use transition phrases, it takes the what should I say next to ask the question, to set up the call, to whatever it is, smoother, and it removes the emotions. So many of the women that I speak with struggle with different aspects of their business, whether it be sales, whatever the heck it is, going live on social media, anything in their business, because they're attaching emotions to the task. And here's the thing, when you use systems in your business, my transition phrases are part of my sales system, right? When you have a system in business, you are just executing steps along the process of that system. There's no emotions involved. You're just like, check, 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 and you're going through them. It helps you take the emotions out of the process, which allows you to move through the process quicker because you're not overthinking it, right? You're just executing. And so what I've really found is that when you have a system, no matter what it is, you can remove the emotions. And my transition phrases are part of my sales system. And my sales system is what allows me to build trust with future clients and see if I can help them and whether I'm the good fit for them. And if I am, then great, let's get them signed up so I can help them. But it doesn't make me feel icky or inauthentic or awkward, right? And so this is something that, as I said, I have taught so many people through the years, and my team used them in my franchise to generate over $17 million. And you can use these transition phrases anywhere in your business. Now, once you have systems in place like transition phrases, you're setting your business up to be able to be duplicated by someone else. Let me give you an example. So when I started my first business, my franchisor said we needed to do 40 visits a week. We needed to go out into the community and we needed to market our office. Okay, great, right? That was the system. And then I did that for 2 years straight. Great, whatever. I did the work, built the business. And then it was time for me to hire someone. And I needed to train that person. I then trained them on my marketing in the community system and for her to do her job, right? And I continue to improve that system every single time that I hired someone new for that position, depending upon where we were as a company, what our goals were, what we were focused on, what was going on in healthcare, senior care, all of those different kinds of things. And so when you have systems in your business, like a sales system, it allows you to scale. Because here's the difference between a 6-figure entrepreneur and a 7-figure entrepreneur. 7-figure entrepreneurs know that they cannot do it alone. They have systems in place, and they use those systems to hire support team members, and then onboard them so they have the right training so they can function on their own. Because if you truly want to achieve that elite 2% level of $1 million in revenue so you can pay yourself a 6-figure salary, systems are key. And having transition phrases that feel good and you can train anyone on your team in them, they're going to allow you to be able to hire staff either for their skill or for their dedication and loyalty and really characteristics like internal characteristics, morals, values, and those kinds of things for your team. I use my 3 sales transition phrases with salespeople, with people I hired for the sales role that had a little bit of experience and years of experience. But all of them learned the phrases so that way they could easily move the conversation to the next step and improve our conversion ratios. So let me share with you right now one of the transition phrases that I think you can use in so many aspects of your business. It is, tell me what's going on. Tell me more, right? So what would happen is someone would call our office and say, I'm looking for help for care for my mom. Okay, great. I would say, tell me what's going on, right? Same thing when we would then book a meeting to go out and meet with the client, walk in, do all the niceties kind of deal. And then I would say, tell me what's going on, right? So you can use this simple phrase, tell me what's going on, anywhere in your business. You can use it with employees, team members, agencies, clients, customers, potential clients, customers, really anywhere in your business, because it's an open-ended question that allows the recipient to tell you what's going on. And then you can dig further and ask more open-ended questions to make sure you understand what is going on, and then see if you're the best fit to help them or make a recommendation or whatever it is, depending upon where you're using it. Now, I have 3 of these phrases and I go over them in my latest newsletter. I have a newsletter that goes out every single Sunday, the Sunday Shift with Salen, where I share with you some sort of business advice and encourage you to take a weekly action step so that way you can grow your business without all the hard lessons and pains that I learned, and help you shift from the grow phase, 6 figures in revenue, to the scale phase, $1 million in revenue, and putting 6 figures in your pocket, right? That sounds much better, right? Okay. So if you're interested and you're like, I need to put 6 figures in my pocket, I need to scale my business to $1 million, but you know that behind the scenes, you don't have that infrastructure in place, meaning your team, if you have one, is messaging you daily with questions. You're working 50 plus hours a week and it's not equating to revenue growth. And maybe you're experiencing some signs of burnout like fatigue, exhaustion, brain fog, 3 a.m. panic attacks, not being able to sleep at night, potentially some weight gain because you're not talking, you're not taking care of yourself and eating right. All of these things are what's saying you don't have the infrastructure in your business, in your life, in order to support your business to scale. But if you're like, heck yeah, I'm ready to scale, comment scale below. Let's get on a phone call and I will say to you, tell me what's going on. And then we will learn what is going on behind the scenes in your business, map out a 90-day plan, And if it's a good fit for me to help you, I'll invite you to join me inside of my coaching program. If you missed the newsletter and want the other 2 sales phrases, transition phrases that I use, comment newsletter and I will pop the link for you below. As always, sharing is caring. If you found this valuable, share it with a friend or tag them in the comments. And I will see you next Wednesday for another hot topic coming your way that is a don't miss episode. I'll see you guys then.